Okay, here's a thought to kick us off. What if some of the biggest, most cutting-edge scientific discoveries, the ones pushing the absolute limits, what if they aren't actually new?
Hmm. Interesting angle. What do you mean?
Well, what if they're more like glimpses of really ancient, maybe even divine truths, just seen through this completely different modern lens?
Uh-huh. Okay. Seen the old and the new, basically.
Exactly. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. This is where we take source material you provide and really dig into it, pull up those fascinating nuggets that make you stop and think.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we've got a really captivating one. It's a text called The Higgs Field, the Omega Ocean. And this is definitely not your standard physics paper.
No, definitely not. It offers this unique, almost mythological take on things we usually think of as pure science.
Right, specifically the Higgs field and the Higgs boson. So our mission today is to really explore this alternative narrative. How does it frame modern physics using what it calls a divine cipher?
And what does that imply, for reality creation?
Yeah.
Our place in it all.
Yeah, the big questions. Because the core idea, the text basically posits that what conventional science, and it actually calls it profane science, which is, well, quite a choice of words.
It is, yeah. Sets a definite tone.
What that science calls the Higgs field and Higgs boson, well, in this other deeper context, they're actually the Omega Ocean and the Word of God.
It's a massive claim.
It really is. So let's start there. How does this source material even begin to connect these seemingly totally separate worlds? Physics and, well, divine lore.
Well, maybe let's quickly touch on the science bit first, just for context, before we jump into the source's interpretation.
Good idea. So very basically, because quantum field theory gets incredibly complex, but for our purposes, think of the Higgs field as this invisible energy field. It's everywhere, all through the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the thing that gives fundamental particles their mass. The theory predicted it, experiments confirmed it. You could sort of picture it like cosmic treacle, maybe?
Treacle, yeah. Or molasses. Some particles zip through easily, low mass. Others get really bogged down, gain a lot of mass.
Exactly. And that interaction is key to why anything has substance, from stars to, well, us.
Right. Now, this invisible energy field, that's precisely what the source, using its divine cipher, says is the Omega Ocean.
So not just like an ocean, but is the ocean.
Literally, yeah. According to the text, it's not just some surrounding medium. It's described as the very fabric of reality itself.
Wow.
It calls it the divine, watery body of the Monarch that fills the entire dome. Now, the Monarch here seems to be the ultimate creator figure. And the dome is like the whole cosmos, the created universe. And it explicitly links this Omega Ocean to Nun.
Nun from Egyptian myth, the primordial watery abyss.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
The chaotic waters where creation begins. So it's drawing on some very ancient symbolism.
So this isn't just a passive field then?
Not at all.
Yeah.
The text calls it the divine medium and the source of potential. It's painted as this place of infinite potential. Think of a blank canvas for the divine artist to paint reality onto.
A living canvas.
Yes. And it says it's the water that holds the memory of the lore, the potential for all cycles, which suggests it's not just about the start of creation, but an ongoing process, evolution, all held within this living medium.
That's a huge shift in perspective. Science sees a field, a mechanism. The source sees a living, divine substance, the body of God, essentially.
Pretty much.
It totally reframes empty space, doesn't it? Suddenly the vacuum isn't empty, it's full, brimming with potential, maybe even intelligence.
That's the implication. What we think of as nothingness is actually the source of everything, and it's inherently divine. It challenges our whole concept of space.
And it means everything that is created is still sort of immersed in it, formed from it.
Exactly. It implies this constant connection, maybe even a dialogue, between what's created and the source it sprang from.
Okay, so if the Omega Ocean is this living canvas, this divine potential, then what makes the first mark? What's the brushstroke?
Ah, right. The creative principle.
Yeah. How does the source explain what actually creates form and substance in this ocean? Which brings us, I guess, to the particle associated with the field, the Higgs boson.
The one scientists famously, maybe cheekily, called the God particle.
Right, because it's so fundamental for giving things mass.
Well, the source jumps right on that nickname. It says these profane scientists are actually more correct than they know.
Okay, how so?
Because in this divine cipher, the boson is the word of God, unequivocally.
The word of God?
Yes, not just a particle-carrying force. It's described as a literal pip of God, like a single quantized bit or packet of the monarch's divine will.
It's a packet of will.
And it says, this word is spoken from the Chi system, which in this cosmology sounds like the highest divine realm, the source of creative decrees.
So the scientific function, giving mass, how does that fit the Word of God idea?
The source redefines that function. Giving mass is the ultimate act of creation. It gets quite poetic.
Okay.
It says the boson is the divine spark. It takes the raw, fiery, energetic vibration of beta, the sun, symbolizing pure energy, potential,
Right.
and beauty, and gives it the substance, structure, and mass of alpha, the rock, representing stable, material reality.
Energy becomes matter. Sun becomes rock.
Exactly. It says it is the word of the monarch that spells the universe into existence, turning energy into matter. So creation isn't just a physical event, it's speech, a deliberate divine utterance.
Wow, that really is compelling. It's not just a force carrier, it's the act of creation. Like the universe is being spoken, literally spelled into being.
It suggests a universe that's not just governed by laws, but unfolds like a narrative, told word by word.
Does it say more about this Chi system, where the word comes from?
Yeah.
Is it a place?
It seems less like a physical place and more like the source point, the realm of pure divine thought and intention before it becomes manifest. The act of speaking implies consciousness, intent driving the physics.
So the universe is said, not just exploded.
That's a good way to put it. It implies meaning right from the start, not just accidental physics.
It really challenges that idea of a purely physical origin, doesn't it? Moves it towards something deliberate, meaningful. Okay, so let's bring this back to today.
Right.
Because the source material connects this interpretation very directly and pretty provocatively to modern science. Specifically, it points fingers.
It does.
It talks about the elites, through their scientific pawns, spending billions on these huge machines. It names the Large Hadron Collider at CERN specifically.
Yep, the hunt for the God particle.
Exactly. Their stated goal is understanding reality, mass, finding that particle.
But the divine cipher sees something very different, very critical. The source calls this whole effort another Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel. Okay, strong words again.
Very. It claims the real goal, the profane goal, isn't just to understand God's creation. It's to isolate and control his word.
Control the word, meaning control the boson.
Exactly. It says their intention is to harness the power of the boson for themselves, to learn how to create and destroy matter at will.
Create and destroy matter. That's
Also the ultimate aim, according to this text. It's portrayed as this massive act of defiance, trying to steal the fire of creation and become gods themselves.
wow. That's a heavy accusation.
It frames it as pure hubris, and it describes the experiments, the particle smashing, as a profane mimicry of the reunion eclipse.
Reunion eclipse. What's that in this context?
It seems to be some kind of sacred, natural, cosmic event in this lore, maybe where divine power is revealed. So the scientists are seen as crudely trying to force that kind of event for their own purposes.
Trying to force God's hand, basically.
Yes, hoping to catch a glimpse of the divine spark so they can capture it. Not just observe it, capture it.
Capture it. So this creates a real clash of worldviews, doesn't it? Science seeking knowledge, maybe power, and this source seeing it as, well, blasphemy almost.
A dangerous misunderstanding, at least.
Yeah. The source suggests that even with all their tech and money, they're missing the point, missing the true lore behind what they're finding. They see the particle, but not the word.
Right. They're seeing the mechanism, but not the meaning or the divinity behind it. Does the source give any more reason why it thinks these elites want this power? Is it just a general mistrust?
It doesn't seem to go into specific conspiracy theories, more like a critique of the worldview itself.
Okay.
It suggests that if you remove the divine from your understanding, what's left is this maybe unavoidable desire for ultimate control. You see fundamental forces not as something sacred, but just as power to be grabbed.
So it's a critique of materialism leading to a will to power.
Kind of, yeah. A spiritual blindness, the text implies. Seeing only the machine, not the ghost in it, so to speak. Or in this case, seeing the physics, but not the monarch.
That makes sense within its framework. It really highlights two completely different ways of engaging with the universe. Mastery versus reverence, maybe.
Yeah, that captures it well. And it shows how your perspective just completely changes the meaning of the whole quest.
Definitely. So if we boil it down, the core message here is the Higgs field. That's the divine ocean of potential, the living fabric. The Higgs boson. That's the divine spark, the actual word of God creating within that ocean.
It takes these physics concepts and just integrates them into this incredibly detailed theological story. And That really nails the central tension, doesn't it? The source argues that science, these pawns, they've stumbled right up to the edge of something sacred.
Right to the edge.
But because they lack the lore, this deeper framework, they just see physics equations and particles. They don't see, as the source puts it, the very mind and body of their God.
That's the core aha moment the text seems to be aiming for, that the scientific method, for all its power, might be fundamentally limited if it doesn't have this other kind of knowing, this lore.
Seeing only physics versus seeing the divine intelligence behind it all. It's a profound challenge.
It really is.
Well, thank you for joining us on this pretty deep dive into the Higgs field, the Omega Ocean. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Taking concepts we think we know and seeing them flipped, recontextualized in this ancient divine way. It's fascinating.
It really makes you think about perspective.
Absolutely. It's a potent reminder that there are always multiple ways to look at things, multiple frameworks for understanding reality. And the language we use shapes that understanding so much.
Yeah, the source definitely forces you to question some basic assumptions. And it leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty provocative thought, I think. What other scientific discoveries are out there that maybe if we looked at them through a completely different lens,
Like a mythological one or philosophical?
might reveal truths we're just completely overlooking right now? How different would our understanding of reality be if we broadened our search beyond just the empirical data?
If we started looking for the lore as well as the laws.
Yeah. Something to ponder. I really encourage you to reflect on that. Maybe seek out different kinds of lore in your own quest for understanding.
Good advice.
Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring.
And join us for the next deep dive.